In this video, I'll be talking about why 2013 was one of the best years of my life and why I still hold it up as the best years of my life till this day. It's your boy Johnny. Welcome to Sunday Vibes with Johnny. What's going on, Sunday Vibes family? Hope you guys are having a blessed Sunday. I know that I am. So today I'll be talking about why 2013 was one of the best years of my life. But before we get to that, we gotta go back to 2012. And I'm not saying at 2012 in the beginning, somewhere at the end of 2012. So it all started in 2012 of August. By that time, we moved out of Ponte. If you guys watched my previous video on why I still love cartoons, I talked about why. I talked about moving to Ponte. That's when it all started. But you guys should go watch it if you haven't already. So by this time, we moved out of Ponte and we moved to a place called Lyndhurst. On how it's spelled, you know, some will call it Lyndhurst, but I call it Lyndhurst, you know. So we moved there in Lyndhurst in late 2012. And obviously, you know, when you move into a new area, it's kind of weird. You gotta get used to the environment and all that. You gotta get used to the neighbors, because these are gonna be your neighbors going forward, depending on how long you're gonna stay in that place. So we moved to Lyndhurst. My sister was 2 months old because she was born in June. She was 2 months old. We moved there. You know, it was really weird because living in Ponte, you know, I had friends who lived there. We were all there together. We were buddies. We were vibing. But unfortunately, we had to move out. So, but Lyndhurst wasn't all that bad. So by this time, from August all the way to January, this was like you could say it was more of a preview of the upcoming year. Basically, there I had just a little bit of friends, you know. I only had a little bit of friends. I had this white friend. His name was Vovo. He was one of my best friends, you know. He was one of my best friends, and I totally miss that guy. So by the time we would hang out, you know, we would do some stupid things together. We would watch cartoons together. We'd play with our toys together. While our parents were doing the heavy lifting, you know, they were the ones doing the unpacking. Also, my mom, she's a visionary. She had to, you know, if she would put the sofa this side, and then she'd be like, no, it's not working. Let me just shift it this side. But then yeah, we would play with toys, we'd watch cartoons, we would eat together, you know. And like I said, my mom was very, very generous, you know. But then not always, you know. Sometimes she would let me bring friends over, but most of the time it's either you play outside or you go to their house, you know. Because sometimes as a parent you gotta be skeptical because you do not know who you are bringing into your house. But that's besides the point. But that's besides the point. So me and Vovo would play. He was introducing me to the other kids, you know. But it was little by little. But little did I know that Lyndhurst, there was a hierarchy. Yo, guys, there was a hierarchy. But that hierarchy, I'm gonna explain it later in the video. So we would play, would hang out with the other kids, would have all these good times, would have all these amazing times, you know. And there was one time I had a watch, right? And keep in mind, Vovo is Russian. His family are from Russia. So keep in mind, I once told him, Vovo, this is a bomb.
What?
Vovo's face turned into a tomato. The guy literally cried and he ran away. And then my mom was like, Jonathan, why would you do that? Sheesh, who'd have known? I mean, I thought he was going to not take it seriously because, you know, the Russians and bombs. Okay, I'm getting out of hand here. Yeah, so I did that prank like once or twice, here and there. But then I think it reached such a point where, you know, Vovo was just angry. And speaking of which his sister Angelica, like, for some reason that girl did not like me. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what was her problem. You see, like, guys, let me tell you, every time I would go to Vovo's place, you know, because I wanted to be in his house. Every time I'd go to his place, and then we hang out. For some reason, every time Angelica comes, she just kicks me out. Like, guys, like, I don't know what vendetta she had against me. Look, if I wouldn't be surprised if, if maybe because Vovo told Angelica about this and then she took it as an offense and then that's why she started to hate me for some reason. Look, if that was the case, then I would understand and I would apologize. But she would just chase me for no reason. For no reason. While we showed her hospitality, I showed her hospitality, respect because she was older than me, But, because there was one time, it was me, Vovo, his youngest sister, and my uncle. We were watching cartoons, right? And so I believe Vovo's grandmother sent Angelica to go pick up Vovo and his younger sister. Then when Angelica came over, when Angelica came over, she wanted to pick Vovo and the younger sister. I was like, oh, so you coming here to ruin everything? When my mom came, she was like, Angelica, welcome. No, take a seat, sit down. Obviously, she blushed and she said like, no, I just came here. Then my mom was like, what are you saying? Sit down. And then we took pictures. We took pictures, we all smiled, And obviously, as a child, it's like when you're sitting down with your enemy and both of you have to smile for the camera. You know how it is. You know how it is. But then, we sat down. My mom gave her a drink. We all drank, watched cartoons. Then she took Vovo and she left. Now, that was from August to January. Now we're cooking. Now we're getting to the real stuff. It's now 2013. It's the new year. In terms of pop culture of the time, like, guys, the culture at the time was awesome. And now, before we get into that, I just want to say, in Linders, it was a complex, and we, in terms of culture, we were diverse. Guys, I am telling you, at the time, 2013, it was amazing. They were Zulus, Zimbabweans, Congolese, Nigerians, Russians, Chinese, some, we were so diverse. The only two families that were either from overseas was Vovo, obviously from Russia, and there were these two Chinese couple. And the guy had tattoos. And I found that guy intimidating. But in all honesty, he was a pretty chill guy. Like, I bet he was like, why do you find me intimidating? I don't see myself as intimidating, But yeah, we were screaming diverse. Back at that time, there was no such thing as foreigners. He stole my job. Foreigners stole our land. Foreigners must go. We must deport them. There was no such thing. There was no such thing as this bull crap. This useless ideology. Back at that time, if you were Congolese, we don't care. If you were South African, we don't care. We are one big happy family. And the best part is that if you were diverse, we all knew that we know in each family they have their own unique taste of foods. I'm telling you. Now, let me introduce you to my two buddies. These two guys were my friends for the whole year. And at the end, I'll tell you more about them. These two, one, his name was Cabello. The second one, his name was Samuel. Samuel lived with his mom. I did not know about his father's whereabouts and I didn't even ask because I knew it was not my business. Cabello, obviously his mom, dad, and his younger brother Dumi. His father was mostly in Limpopo. He would come to Gauteng from time to time, usually during the holidays, because obviously he had a good paying job in Limpopo, so that's why he had to go to Limpopo. These two, I met them in the beginning of the year. We had so much in common. We loved watching cartoons, we loved playing with toys, and we loved going on an adventure. And keep in mind, this was a complex. So the complex was big, right? Because you guys can look at it on Google Maps. But, oh, I miss it so much. But that's enough. But yeah. So we met. We met outside because as kids, it's very, very easy to introduce yourself with other kids. We met, we played with each other, and then the next day we started hanging out with each other. We started hanging out more and more and more. Until then, Kabelo's mom and my mom became best friends. Ah, man, that was so cool, man. It's like when you meet somebody and both your parents, they start liking each other and they become best friends. Yo, guys, I'm telling you. Then they became best friends. And I remember one time, this was the first time I tasted acha. So she came with acha. She just gave a little bit to my mom to try. Then I got curious. Then Kabelo's mom was like, "Are you sure, Jonathan? Because acha, this thing, it has strong flavors." Then I was like, yeah, no, give it to me. I want to try. Then she gave it to me. I tried it. And I was like, but then out of respect, I had to toughen up and I had to swallow. Because if you spit it out, it's disrespectful. And if I did that, I know I was going to get a whooping from my mom. I ate it. I was like, oh, I'm like, oh. Then my mother was like, you see? Who told you to? She said, you see, who told you to ask? Then, I met this girl. She was our neighbor. Ooh, she was my best buddy. We would sometimes sit outside. When it's usually nighttime, we would sit down, and then we would pretend that we're bosses. In those American TV shows, if a boss and one of the if one of the employees are just talking about their days, and having a cup of coffee, and then they'll just be like, cheers, and they'll go cheers, cling, and then that's what we used to do. That's what me and my friend we used to do. Like, it was usually almost every night. And also, her mom and my mom were best friends. Hey, back in the day, mothers used to make best friends before gossiping about money, asali boy, asali nini, asali boy. Back in those days where your mom knew how to make best friends. Like, I'm telling you. Those were the days. Those were good times. I'm telling you, those were good times. Now, before I go on, as I mentioned earlier, that there was a hierarchy in Linders, and I bet you're wondering, a hierarchy. Oh, so the hierarchy went something like this. We had, back in the day, we were like the peasants. If you were just like among the crowd, you were seen like a peasant, and then they were the groups, they were the factions. It was these friends that had groups. And obviously the hierarchy, it also depended on your age. So basically you had groups. At first, in the beginning, I was among the peasants. Then I moved up in the group series, where it was me, Kabelo, and Samuel. We were in the groups. We were known as the Three Amigos. We were respected by other kids, some who were like 12 years old, some could have been 13, some were 15, And also, it also depended on what you have. If you were one of the cool kids that had nice toys, that lived in a rich household, or which we call cheese boy or spoiled. Right, back in those days, it was spoiled before. No, on the upper level above the group series were the teenagers, and these guys were the cool kids. Obviously teenagers back then were way cooler. These were the ones who had PlayStation, Xbox. Some had collections of these top cars. Not like your Hot Wheels you'd get at McDonald's. No, these kids had like some did have Hot Wheels, but only those ones bought from Toys R Us. And Toys R Us at the time, Toys R Us, if you know, If you got a toy from Toys R Us, you were blessed. I'm telling you, you were the chosen child. I'm telling you, these were the guys who were into like anime by that time. These were the ones who were into more like mature movies. These were the ones who had games, whether it be PlayStation, Xbox 360, Nintendo. And these were the kids who were into music, and especially in 2013. 2013 was amazing.